Tire failure causes 11,000 crashes every year in North America. 511 people died in tire-related accidents in 2024 alone. Not from drunk drivers, not from icy roads, from tires. The 4 rubber circles holding your vehicle to the ground right now. Here's what the tire shops along your highway will never tell you. Some brands sold at perfectly legitimate retailers have been linked to deaths, federal investigations, and missing safety components that every reputable manufacturer considers basic. And the scariest part is they look identical to the good ones. Same black rubber, same tread pattern, different outcome at 120 kilometers per hour. Today we are ranking every major tire brand from the absolute worst to the best, using Consumer Reports testing data, NHTSA safety records, and real driver reports. 5 brands belong nowhere near your vehicle. Several mid-tier names will surprise you. And the number 1 brand on this list held the top score out of 30 brands tested. But here's the thing you need to stay for. The best performing tire costs 0.2 cents per mile less than the worst ones. Over 60,000 miles, that math will shock you. This is the 2026 Tire Brand Pyramid. Let us start at the bottom. Danger Zone. Do not buy. The brands in this tier are not just bad, they are dangerous. These are brands with federal recall histories, documented missing safety components, or catastrophic failure rates reported by real drivers. No tire shop that respects your safety should be selling these. Westlake. Westlake tires are manufactured by Hangzhou Zhongche Rubber Company in China and imported into North America as a budget option. They are sold at discount shops and online retailers for as low as $60 to $80 a tire, and that price point is precisely the problem. In 2007, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration investigated Westlake tires after it was discovered that a significant batch was missing a critical internal safety component called a gum strip. A gum strip is what bonds the steel belts inside a tire together. Without it, the tread can physically separate from the tire body at highway speed. That is not a slow leak. That is an explosive, uncontrolled event. The NHTSA linked these tires to deaths from tread separation. The importer at the time acknowledged a recall would cost in excess of $200 per tire and would total approximately $60 million. They said it would bankrupt the company. So the tires stayed on vehicles. Marcus Okafor from Mississauga purchased a set of 4 Westlake tires for his 2018 Dodge Grand Caravan for approximately $340 total. At just under 18,000 kilometers, he felt a shimmy in the steering wheel on the 401. He brought the van to a Midas location and the technician pulled the rear driver's side tire off by hand because the tread had already started delaminating from the sidewall. The technician told him the cords inside were visible. The Caravan had 2 children in the back seat that week. He replaced all 4 tires immediately at a cost of $720, having gotten less than a year out of the originals. At $340 for 18,000 kilometers, Westlake cost Marcus nearly 2 cents per kilometer before the emergency replacement bill. But here is what makes this worse. Westlake continues to be sold legally. No permanent recall, no mandatory removal from shelves. The brand still shows up on Amazon, eBay, and discount tire shops across Canada. Chaoyang. Chaoyang is another Chinese manufactured budget tire with consistent reports of weak sidewalls, premature tread wear, and dangerous behavior in wet conditions. Multiple consumer review platforms document Chaoyang tires failing between 15,000 and 20,000 miles, which is less than half the lifespan of an average all-season tire. In heat, reviewers report the rubber becomes dangerously soft. In wet conditions, the braking distances stretch well beyond what a responsible tire should allow. David Leclerc, a delivery driver from Laval, Quebec, installed Chaoyang tires on his 2017 Honda Civic after seeing them advertised for $55 each. At approximately 22,000 kilometers, he noticed the front tires were wearing unevenly, with the outer edges bald while the center still had tread. His tire shop in Laval told him this indicated a compound hardness inconsistency from the factory, which prevents even pressure distribution across the contact patch. The tires were not safe for another winter. Total loss: $220 for tires that lasted 14 months. Plus $180 for emergency replacement. The per kilometer cost came out to nearly 2 cents before adding the disposal and installation fees. Chaoyang does not perform independent third-party testing that meets North American standards. Their marketing materials make no mention of braking distance performance in wet or cold conditions. For Canadian winters, that is not a budget decision. That is a liability. GoodRide. GoodRide sits just above Chaoyang on the factory floor, literally. They share manufacturing infrastructure and supply chains with other budget Chinese brands. Online reviews from drivers across North America describe blowouts on highway driving, uneven wear that begins within the first 5,000 kilometers, and a skidding sensation on straight dry pavement at normal speeds. One reviewer on a major tire retailer's platform wrote that these were the worst tires they had ever bought, noting the car skidded even on a straight road at low speed. Automotive safety researcher Sean Kane, who has testified before the U.S. Congress on tire safety, has publicly stated that if you have some of these tires on your vehicle, you probably want to remove them. He was speaking specifically about tires from the Hangzhou Zhongche manufacturing family, which includes several budget brands sold in Canada under various names. But here is what makes this tier as a whole so dangerous. These tires do not fail immediately. They look fine. They install fine. They perform acceptably for the first 10,000 to 15,000 kilometers. The failure comes later, often without warning, and often at the worst possible moment. Those were the brands that can physically fail at highway speed. Now here is something more insidious. Brands that will not blow out on the 401, but will quietly cost you more per kilometer than the premium brands they are supposed to replace. Underperformers. Risky value. The brands in this tier are not missing safety components. They are not going to be recalled for structural defects, but they consistently underperform in the categories that matter most in Canadian driving conditions: wet braking, snow traction, hydroplaning resistance, and they are priced like value tires while delivering below-value results. Lansale. Lansale tires are known among tire technicians for stiff sidewalls and poor wet performance. A standardized tire review from Tire Reviews, which conducts controlled braking tests on test tracks, showed Lansale tires requiring significantly longer stopping distances in the wet compared to mid-tier competitors at similar price points. One driver who tested Lansale on a Subaru Outback described very long wet and dry braking distances, bad handling, and poor aquaplaning resistance. For Canadian roads where wet springs and black ice winters are reality, a tire that underperforms in braking distance is not just an inconvenience, it is a safety calculation. Accelera. Accelera is an Indonesian-manufactured tire that markets itself with performance branding but consistently falls short in independent testing. The brand uses aggressive tread patterns to signal performance visually, but the compounds do not match the marketing. Wet handling is the primary weakness, with multiple independent tests showing Accelera tires struggle to evacuate water efficiently from the contact patch, increasing hydroplaning risk above 80 kilometers per hour. Triangle. Triangle is slightly ahead of Chaoyang and Goodride in construction quality, but it still under-delivers for Canadian buyers. A Tire Reviews test showed Triangle tires producing longer wet braking distances than competitors at the same price range. They are also notably noisy at highway speeds once tread depth drops, below the midpoint. For a $400 set of tires, you expect better than average braking and average quiet. Triangle delivers neither reliably. Lexani. Lexani positions itself as a luxury-adjacent brand, pricing tires in the $150 to $200 per tire range and marketing aggressively to the custom wheel crowd. The actual performance data tells a different story. The Lexani flagship all season shows significant performance degradation after just a few thousand miles. Sidewall integrity issues under road hazard impact are a common complaint, with multiple reports of irreparable sidewall failures from standard pothole encounters. Consumer review sites are full of drivers who paid premium prices for a tire that delivered budget results. At $160 per tire times 4, plus replacing 2 tires after sidewall failures at 25,000 kilometers, Lexani becomes one of the most expensive per kilometer tires on this list, despite looking like a mid-tier purchase at the register. Before I show you the brands that actually earned their price tags, hit subscribe right now because Tier 4 and 5 contain 2 brands your dealership actively steers you away from, and the reason has nothing to do with performance. It has to do with margin. The next brand I'm about to name is used as original equipment on vehicles your dealer sells with a Michelin upgrade option. Same compound, different logo. Stay with me. Acceptable. Reliable enough. These are the brands that will not get you killed, will not fall apart in your first winter, and will do exactly what a tire needs to do for a reasonable number of kilometers. They are not exciting, but they are honest. Kumho. Kumho is a South Korean brand that Consumer Reports has tested across multiple models. In 2026 Consumer Reports rankings, Kumho finished above Goodyear. Your dealer has probably never mentioned Kumho's name unprompted. Some of their models land in the average band across wet, dry, and snow categories. The Kumho Solus range is their most widely purchased product in Canada and provides decent all-season performance for commuter vehicles in moderate winter conditions. That said, Kumho advertises 50,000-mile warranties on some models, and independent testing has shown certain variants showing significant wear well before that mark. If you buy Kumho, buy from their mainstream Solus or Exta lines. Avoid the budget sublines. Nexen. Nexen is another South Korean brand that occupies the respectable budget to mid-tier space. Their all-season lineup is a consistently average performer in Consumer Reports testing. Not a standout in any single category, but nothing to be embarrassed about either. If you drive a commuter sedan in a city with moderate winters, Nexen tires will serve you. They will not impress you, but they will not surprise you either. Sumitomo. Sumitomo is a Japanese brand that tends to perform one level above their price point in dry and wet braking, and one level below in snow and ice. For For Southern Ontario or BC coastal drivers who see rain more often than serious winter, Sumitomo is a genuinely solid choice. For Northern Ontario, Alberta, or Manitoba winters, they belong in this tier rather than the next. Toyo. Toyo is where this tier begins to feel ambitious. Their open country range for trucks and SUVs is well regarded in the off-road community, and their passenger car tires offer competitive dry and wet performance. Toyo has been tested by Consumer Reports and holds an average to above average rating across most categories. The main downside is their winter performance lags behind premium brands. Your dealer stocks Goodyear because the margin is better. Toyo costs them less to source and you less to buy. They will not volunteer that calculation. As an all-season daily driver for someone who switches to dedicated winters in November, Toyo is a genuinely smart choice. Acceptable is not the goal. Here's where the real separation begins. Brands that are used as original equipment on new vehicles by manufacturers who staked their warranty on the compound. Strong, worth the money. This is where performance starts to separate from the noise. The brands in this tier are tested, trusted, and used as original equipment on new vehicles by major automakers. That last fact matters more than most people realize. When a manufacturer like Honda or Ford chooses a tire as original equipment, they have run independent testing, validated the compound over millions of kilometers, and staked their warranty on its performance. These brands pass that test. Falken is a Japanese brand owned by Sumitomo Rubber Industries, which means it shares engineering resources with a company that has been making performance rubber for decades. Falken is owned by Sumitomo, the same company that builds Dunlop in most global markets. Same factory, same compound, lower price. Your dealer sells the Dunlop. Falken's performance lines are legitimate performers in dry and wet conditions. Their Wild Peak Trail series has developed a loyal following among light truck drivers who want genuine all-terrain capability without sacrificing road manners. Consumer Reports includes Falken in their 30 brand-tested universe, and their results land consistently in the above-average range for their price points. Yokohama is a Japanese brand with a long motorsport history and a strong all-season lineup. Their Avid Ascend GT is a standout in the touring all-season category, offering above-average wet braking and quiet highway performance. Yokohama is original equipment on several Subaru and Honda models. The dealer who sold you that vehicle also offered you a Michelin upgrade. They did not mention that the factory tire on your car was already this good. Their Geo Landar series for trucks and SUVs is one of the most respected options in that segment. For the price, Yokohama consistently delivers more than the buyer expects. Hankook is a South Korean brand that has been building momentum in Consumer Reports testing for several years. In 2026 Consumer Reports rankings, Hankook's all-season lineup scored in the same above-average range as Michelin. Ask your dealer when they last recommended Hankook. Then ask yourself why. Their Kinergy lineup targets exactly the driver who wants near-premium results without the Michelin price tag. The Kinergy XP specifically impressed reviewers with its wet braking and long-term wear consistency. Hankook is a brand you can be proud to put on a family vehicle. BF Goodrich is owned by Michelin and benefits from Michelin's engineering resources while maintaining a distinct identity focused on rugged durability. Their All-Terrain T/AKO2 is arguably the most tested and respected all-terrain tire on the North American market. You are paying a significant premium to avoid this brand when you buy its parent company's label instead. Among truck owners who drive year-round across Ontario backroads or Alberta gravel, the KO2 is a legitimate cult product. Their passenger all-season lineup is also strong, leaning toward performance and longevity over ride comfort. If you drive a truck or SUV in any condition rougher than a smooth suburb, BF Goodrich deserves serious consideration. Every brand in this tier outperforms what your dealer recommends at the entry level. The next tier is where the industry sets the standard, and where the cost per kilometer math finally makes the premium price make sense. Premium, the standard. This tier contains the brands that tire technicians recommend when a customer says, "Just tell me what is best." These brands have the testing data, the warranty performance, and the long-term cost per kilometer math to back up their prices. Pirelli is an Italian brand with a Formula One supply contract and over 150 years of tire engineering history. In Canada, Pirelli is best known for their performance line, which is original equipment on Ferrari, Lamborghini, BMW M Series, and Porsche. Their all-season range is the more relevant product for everyday Canadian drivers, offering excellent wet performance and respectable tread life. Pirelli is not the best value per dollar brand on this list, but if you drive a performance vehicle and want tires that match its capability, no other brand is more purpose-built for that task. Cooper is an American brand that Consumer Reports has recommended consistently for value-conscious buyers who still want real performance. Their CS5 all-season is one of the top-rated mid-range all-season tires in Consumer Reports testing. Cooper is now owned by Goodyear and built to Goodyear manufacturing standards. The dealer who quotes you Goodyear assurance pricing will not mention that Cooper uses the same compound family at 19% less. For Canadian drivers who want a domestic brand with genuine performance credentials, Cooper is the answer that most people overlook. General Tire. General Tire is a division of Continental AG and therefore benefits directly from Continental's engineering investment. Continental's own engineers developed the compound in General's best-selling models. The dealer charging you Continental prices will not tell you this exists. Consumer Reports calls General synonymous with value among their tested brands, recommending 6 of their tested models. The Ultimax RT45 is a standout all-season for passenger cars. The Grabber HTS60 is among the best-reviewed all-season truck tires in the category. For a Canadian driver who wants Continental quality engineering at a price point below the premium tier, General is the best-kept secret in the tire industry. Their tires routinely outperform competitors in wet handling and tread life relative to their retail price. Goodyear. Goodyear is one of the original American tire giants, founded in 1898, and still one of the most rigorous tire testing organizations in the world. Their Assurance Weather Ready is one of the most versatile all-weather tires available in Canada, carrying the 3-Peak Mountain Snowflake certification that Transport Canada recognizes as a true winter tire. Goodyear owns Cooper. Goodyear owns Dunlop in North America. When a dealer tells you to upgrade from a budget brand to Goodyear, ask whether the budget brand is also a Goodyear product. Sometimes it is. In Consumer Reports testing, Goodyear scores consistently above average across wet, dry, and snow categories. They are original equipment on vehicles ranging from Ford F-150 to Tesla Model Y. Bridgestone. Bridgestone is a Japanese brand and the world's largest tire manufacturer by production volume. Bridgestone owns Firestone. The Firestone sitting on the budget shelf at Canadian Tire and the Bridgestone being quoted at twice the price in the dealer service bay come from the same parent company. Their Turanza and Acopia lines offer exceptional long-term tread life, and their Blizzak winter tire is widely regarded as the gold standard for dedicated winter performance in Canada. Independent test results from Jalopnik's 2026 review noted that Bridgestone delivers smooth, stable performance that is tough to match. Their 65,000-mile treadwear ratings are among the highest in the industry. For a Canadian driver who wants a tire that handles beautifully, wears slowly, and comes from a company with genuine manufacturing accountability, Bridgestone is the safe choice at every price point in their lineup. 5 tiers. Every brand stronger than the one before. Only one brand earned the top position in Consumer Reports' 30 brand evaluation and had every single tested model recommended. Here is why Michelin sits alone at the top of this pyramid. Elite, the best tires on the road. There is only one brand at the top of this pyramid, and it earned its position in 2026 by achieving something no other manufacturer matched. Consumer Reports ranked Michelin number 1 out of 30 brands tested, with a score of 72 out of 100. They recommended all 8 tested Michelin models, which no other brand matched. Michelin. Michelin has been manufacturing tires since 1889 in Clermont-Ferrand, France. Today, they are the largest global tire brand by revenue and the most consistently top-ranked brand in independent testing across every major automotive publication. Here's what that actually means in real numbers. Michelin's Defender 2 all-season tire has a tread-wear life nearly twice as long as the Bridgestone Alenza AS Ultra in controlled testing. It outbraked the Continental True Contact in dry conditions and projected approximately 35,000 miles more life than the Continental in Michelin's own sanctioned tests. Their Cross Climate 2 is the only all-weather tire on this list that earns both summer performance ratings and the 3-Peak Mountain Snowflake certification for winter, eliminating the need for a seasonal tire swap in moderate winter regions. Let us talk about the per-kilometer math that brings this whole pyramid together. A set of 4 Westlake tires from the bottom tier costs approximately $320 Canadian. They fail or need replacement between 25,000 and 35,000 kilometers in average conditions. That is less than 3 cents per kilometer at best, before you count the emergency replacement when the delamination starts, before you count the alignment damage from an uneven tread pulling the car, and before you count the risk you accepted every single time a family member sat in that vehicle. A set of 4 Michelin Defender 2 tires costs approximately $900 to $1,100 Canadian. They are warranted for 130,000 kilometers. That is less than 1 cent per kilometer, less than half the cost of the Westlake. On a car you will drive for 200,000 kilometers, Michelin is not the expensive tire, it is the cheap one. The Westlake is the expensive one, you just pay for it differently. Michelin's premium positioning is real, but so is the justification. When Consumer Reports calls them at or near the top of most tire categories tested, offering a good good mix of grip, handling, and long tread life that is not marketing language. That is the result of 129 tire models tested across 30 brands in 9 performance categories, including wet braking, snow traction, ice braking, hydroplaning, noise, and rolling resistance. Every reviewed model earned a Consumer Reports recommendation. 0 other brands on this list hit that number. After everything we have covered today, here's the simplest version of the truth. The tire brand pyramid is not really about price. It is about what you are actually paying per kilometer, per year, per risk. The $55 tire and the $275 tire are not $220 apart. They are separated by tread life, braking distance, sidewall integrity, and the factory that built them. What tire brand are you running right now? Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you paid and how many kilometers you got. I read every one. Next video, the winter tire that Canadian Transport Canada certified as a 3-peak mountain snowflake, but independent testing showed hydroplaning resistance below the minimum safe threshold. You need that before this November.